And away we go. It's the aftermath. Brought to you by Mios, live from the Cincy Light Studios, right here on BearcatJournal.com. Cincinnati falls 80-52 in a game that was tied with about a minute left in the first half. And things went as wrong as I've ever seen them for the Cincinnati Bearcats. So if there's anywhere you need to drown your sorrows next time you're on campus, go see our friends at Mio's Pizza. They do have great pizza. They have cold drinks. They've got Cincy Light. I love their steak hoagies. That's usually my go-to, although I will say every time I've had their pizza, I've been satisfied. So, yeah, anytime you're up and around campus, go see our good friends at Mio's. They will get you taken care of. I guarantee, Aaron, I guarantee you will have more fun at Mio's than you did watching that game last night, even if you stuck a fork in your eye. I don't recommend that, but I'm just saying, even if you did, it would be more fun than what we just saw in Provo. All right, well, Aaron, I'm just going to say this and get it out of the way. I don't use this phrase lightly.
Before you say anything, remember, we have to get to 2 minutes. We are 17 seconds shy before you drop any F-bombs. So
I don't need to curse yet.
All right.
This team quit in the second half. They quit. There was no effort. They didn't play defense. They didn't rebound. They ran half-assed offense. They quit. I don't say that lightly.
I think they quit.
You disagree?
Yeah, I think they quit after it tied. That's when right before halftime.
Well, I mean, a guy gets fouled. Day misses a wide open three. Igor Demon, who's shooting like 12% from three on the season, makes a three to end the half. You're down 5. That's recoverable. It's like you should be able to come out in the second half and show some grit. And BYU goes on a 14-5 run to open the half, and Cincinnati quit. They quit. The effort was not there. The toughness was not there. They got out rebounded in the second half, 17-8. It 8 rebounds in the second half. Mainly because, well, Aaron, mainly because BYU shot 74% in the second half. 73.9% from the floor, 73.3% from three, 77.8% from the free throw line. That's quitting. They were open shots. They were rhythm shots. They were easy shots. There's very rarely a hand in the face. Everybody was trailing screens. Nobody was fighting. Nobody showed any toughness. They didn't look like they gave a shit that they were getting their doors blown off. And that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. What happened in the second half tonight is as bad as I've felt about this program in a long, long time. And the fan base is pissed. And guess what? They should be. It's 11:52. That game ended at it's 12:52. 12:52. That game, this fan base stayed up until almost 1 o'clock in the morning, some of them, to watch you get your teeth fucking kicked in. It's embarrassing. They're 2-5 going into this game in the Big 12. You're fighting for your life. You're down 5 at halftime. Doable. You played terrible offensively in the first half, but you scrapped and clawed and fought and did enough to be in the game. And then you let BYU score 52 points in the second half.
As much as you scored the whole game.
Have at it.
What do you? There's nothing to say. That was a waste of my life that I can never get back. And the only reason I didn't turn it off was because I have to sit here and talk about it. regardless of what the outcome is. I didn't want to watch it. I would have rather been watching Saturday night main event from tonight.
I'd rather watch I'd have watched fucking Caillou before I watched that. I'd have willingly turned on Caillou before I watched that bullshit 20 minutes in the second half.
Well, I mean, that was I can't. I don't know. I feel like this team played with more heart in Wes's first year than they did tonight, and that was with a roster that doesn't compare on paper.
Yeah, no question.
I wonder how much of this is a byproduct of the fact that players are paid now, and regardless,
I don't. But I get where you're going with that. But everybody's got players that are getting paid. Auburn's got players that are getting paid. Houston's got players that are getting paid, and they fought their ass off twice tonight, down 6 with 18 seconds, down 6 with 10 seconds left. And Houston's players that are getting paid beat Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse.
And that's the difference, though, between that's where you're at the intersection of, is it the coaching staff or the players?
It's both.
Sure.
Like, that's, I get this whole, like, because I'm not willing to be the guy that says everything good that happens is on the players and everything bad that happens is on the coach. And we actually discuss nuance. Well, you give the coach a pass. No, I've never given the coach a pass. You want to blame Wes? Blame Wes. Feel free, because it's his program. He's making the money to be the head coach of the program. And right now, it's shit. They're 2-6 in the Big 12. 2-6.
Yeah.
And they had a chance. We talked about the bottom half of this league was allowing you had a bad start. You played some games against teams that were in the top of the league, that is separating itself by the day from the pack. And you lost those games. But you had a chance to go out to Utah and make a stand. And instead of making a stand, they fucking laid down. And BYU rubbed their belly.
Sleep.
BYU rubbed their belly and then hit a 3 in their face as the clock expired.
You're giving them too much credit for being in their face. I'm not even sure they were in their face.
Well, they were walking back to the bench.
They didn't have hands up or anything. It was not contested.
No.
It was not contested.
They were walking past the guy, though, very casually, like they do pretty much everything right now. They were very casually walking past the guy as he hit a 3. Now, getting pissed about that, fuck it. At that point in time, you're down 77-52. You're mad about that? That's what you're mad about?
I'm mad about all of it. I can't recall when I've watched a game that was this apathetic to the players.
Yeah.
This didn't look like a conference game. It didn't look like
I don't know what it looked like. It looked like an NBA team playing like a high school team in the second half. It looked like when you show up at the rec league and it's a bunch of dudes from your neighborhood and like a bunch of guys that played Division I basketball show up and they play against the 30-year-old fat guys. That's what this looked like in the second half. Like they just let BYU do whatever. Just casually do whatever the hell they wanted to do for 20 minutes without even the slightest whiff of resistance.
Yeah, offense looked like pickup ball. Defense looked like pickup ball. Nothing looked coordinated. It didn't look like we heard that they had a tough practice, all getting kicked. What do you do after you've kicked the ball 15 to 20 rows into the stands? How do you follow that up with after this performance? You're stuck in Utah with each other for the next several days.
Yeah, they're stuck in Utah until late Tuesday night.
Jeez. How uncomfortable is that?
Do we get a closed door team meeting, Aaron?
For what? Who's leading that meeting?
I don't know.
Who's got the
DJ Anthony?
Who's got the cojones to tell this team, hey, let's get our shit together?
BYU hit some shit. Come on, Mark. I don't want to hear like they were open rhythm. Once you let a team get hot, once you let a team stand there and shoot open threes, they're Division I. They're really good shooters. They're gonna make them.
They left Cincinnati open for threes, and they didn't make them.
Right. Cincinnati had just as many open. BYU's entire defensive philosophy is have everybody connected to the paint so that you can't drive, and you have to hit open threes to shoot them out of it. Guess what UC didn't do?
Didn't hit threes.
Right, Wolfie. Hand down is basically wide open in this level of the sport. It doesn't matter how close you're standing to the guy. If you're not contesting, if you're not challenging the shot, it's a wide open three for these guys. Get there early and watch a team shoot from the perimeter. Even UC looks good in warmups, usually. 1 of 20 from 3 for anybody not named CMOS. Aaron.
Chad.
CMOS, 14 points, 5 of 11 from the floor, 4 of 8 from 3, 4 rebounds. Solid game from CMOS. Nobody else had more than 7. Nobody else had more than 7. Page had 7. Skillings and James had 6. Day had 5 that he scored before the 12-minute mark of the first half. So he did not score in the rest of the 32 minutes of action. Rayvon had 4. Aziz had 4. Dylan had 4. Tyler Betsy had 2. That's it. 14 for CMOS, 7 for Page. Nobody else above 7. Look, Dan played with one eye. Dan is playing like shit. He's so bad defensively right now. You almost can't have him on the floor.
He's on skates. Well, that's what. Look, they made that first mass hockey sub where Dan was the only starter, and I'm screaming at the TV, why is Dan the only starter you're leaving in? Of all players, that's the guy? That's the guy you leave in with all your bench players?
Here's part of the problem, Evan. Aziz doesn't actually clog the offense like you guys think he does, but nobody takes advantage of the things that he creates because he's on the floor. Defenses stay with Aziz because they're afraid of the lob, and nobody takes advantage of that. Sometimes the defense stays with Aziz, and they still try to throw the lob. The guy doesn't even step up. He just stays with Aziz, gives a wide open lane to the basket, and they still try to throw the lob. Maybe playing with one eye could give him an advantage, mix it up. 2 eyes wasn't working.
Yeah, for everyone not named CMOS to be shooting 5% from 3 is unheard of.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this over and over again. And until they can make shots, and we're at the point now, you're an idiot if you assume at some point in time this is going to get corrected and they're going to get out of the slump.
Yeah.
This is who they are.
Stop shooting threes.
You can't. Unfortunately, you can't because teams are just going to do what BYU did, and they're going to pack the lane, and you can't drive. So if you can't drive, you have to shoot them out of it. Like we've talked about this before. Like there is no other solution.
But you can't shoot. So what do you do?
You can't score then.
That's where we're at.
Yeah. I mean, that's the unfortunate reality of it. At this level, like we were talking the other night. BYU doesn't have a 7-footer or whatever, but everybody on the floor is 6'5" plus. They go 6'8", 6'5" to 6'9". Everybody has length. They're not super athletic, but they just pack it in and they say, if you can shoot over us, you're going to have a good night. And if you can't, then you're going to suck. And to the surprise of no one, Cincinnati couldn't shoot over it, and they sucked.
Yeah.
They scored what? 23 in the first half, 29 in the second.
Yeah, but they were
Bad.
without CMOS, 18 of 51. The rest of the team, 18 of 51 on the game.
Yeah. They played right into like BYU's game plan. And that's no surprise. We knew BYU's game plan coming in. That is exactly who they are. It's why they're a great defensive rebounding team. Although Cincinnati did get a bunch of long rebounds early in the game, they didn't get a whole lot after that. I think they only had 3 offensive rebounds in the second half. But they got a bunch of defensive rebounds early because they were bricking threes back to the free throw line, and guys were able to grab them. Aaron, they airballed 3, I think. There were at least another 3 that hit the side of the backboard and didn't come anywhere close to the rim.
Yeah, it was. I don't know what you do with that. I don't know what you do with that.
Yeah. Can you just start running in transition? I mean, in theory, sure, but again, once your scouting report is out, teams are just going to get back. You can run into a brick wall. That doesn't do anybody any good. You have to be able to prove you can do something offensively. Something. And they can't. At all. It's frustrating. I mean, it again, it goes back. Seeing a team just do what they did tonight. Like, that tells me all I need to know about, is this team going to turn it around? They're not.
No.
They're not. If they turn it around, I will be the most shocked human on the planet. Because we've gone back to this before. Like, you don't want to play this team coming off a loss because they're going to be pissed. Have we seen that once from this team?
Who would be pissed? Who's the mean one? No one's the mean one.
You can be nice and be pissed. You can be nice and play with some urgency. They don't do it. They don't do it. They're soft. They're soft. Yeah. And I don't say that lightly. That's something in 35 years I don't recall saying more than 3, 4, 5 times. And that's where we're at. They are flat out soft. And if they don't want to be called soft, stop fucking playing soft. They laid down. You're right, Zachary. They laid down in the second half. There was no fight. There was no fight at all. Kenneth, if I had the answer to that question, I would be really smart. How this team got objectively better on paper and so much worse in reality. And it comes down to nobody's improved. Nobody has taken a step that we expected. Nobody on this team has gone from the typical transition of a collegiate basketball player, right? Well, you come in as a freshman, you earn some time, you move up hopefully to like a starter as a sophomore, and then you advance to your junior year and you become like an all-league guy, and then your senior year, you're a great player. Nobody's taken a step this year. Guys have shown in like brief flashes that there's some improvement, but there's no consistency. It never sticks.
I don't even think you can say that anybody has remained on the same level from where they were last year.
That's fair.
Because who? Maybe Aziz? Maybe? Outside of that, I don't. Everyone else is taking a step back. Even Jizzle moving into a starting role, he's taken a step back. His game has taken a step back.
Yeah,
Seamas
sure.
has taken a step back. He can't be counted on right now for anything. Dylan is not the player he was at Texas.
No, I'm still. I don't have an issue with Dylan because I think
he had some hustle plays tonight. Even late,
Dylan has been in double figures. This is only the second Big 12 game of the 8 that he has not been in double figures. Like, again, we talked about this week coming into this game. The only guy that like you can kind of count on to hustle and be reliable and defend and rebound and have any type of toughness is Dylan. At least, you know, he should be an awesome third or fourth like piece to a team.
Yes. He's a glue guy. He's not the guy. Yeah. He's not the guy. He's the glue guy. We knew that.
Right.
Day-Day has not taken a step. He's taken a step back. I don't know who has taken. We already talked about no one's taken a step forward. I just don't know that anybody has taken a lateral step in the second in this year. I think everyone has taken a step
since
back.
Big 12 play started. Like nobody looks worth a damn. And you know, you'll get one guy on any given night. Like it was Jizzle in the Texas Tech game. It was Seamas tonight. It'll maybe be Dan at Utah. But in reality, nobody on this team has consistently shown to even be as good as they were a year ago. That's fair. I would say Aziz has been, because he's been healthy,
about as close as you get.
Yeah.
Maybe Josh.
Josh is doing the exact same thing Josh was doing last year.
That's what I'm saying. He's at the same level as last year. That's everyone
Wes
else
hasn't taken a step forward. That's a fair take, John. This is supposed to be year 2 in the league, right? You're supposed to have gone through it for a year, understood what it takes, and all these games last year were pretty close. Not this year.
No.
Baylor drilled them. Kansas drilled them. Arizona should have drilled them. Texas Tech drilled them.
I'm watching Arizona State and looking at Quaintance, still wondering what might have been. Watching Kansas today, looking at Flory, wondering what might have been.
But those guys wouldn't have mattered for shit if the guards still sucked.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, the guards suck. They suck. This team's getting drilled more than Debbie in Dallas.
Yikes. That's on a night they play the Mormons.
That's for the old guys.
On the night you play the Mormons, that's where you go.
Oh. Dennis Gates in year 3 at Missouri. Tucker, Dennis Gates last year didn't win a game in the SEC. Miss me with Dennis Gates. Didn't win a game in the SEC last year.
We got soaked.
Not wrong.
I think I may have shifted though to Richie Saunders over Trevin Nell being the most dislikable character on BYU. He's got an extremely punchable face. Him and that just massive butt chin.
If I asked the hard questions, they'd be 7-1 in Big 12 play. You're right. That's right, Marcus. If I just asked the hard questions, this would all be better.
So it's your fault.
Somebody said that. Well, somebody said, like, this team's soft. Nobody asked Wes the hard questions. The media in this town sucks. They tagged me. So I said, Hand up. You're right. It's my fault. And then they hit me back and said, I didn't mean it. You're one of the good ones. It's not your fault. I'm like, well, you tagged me. My bad for the mix-up. I thought when you tagged me, you were talking about me.
I like the people who had the jokes that the girl who made the half court shot had better offense than Cincinnati tonight.
I mean,
And
we're gonna get lit up by both of the Madsen twins on Tuesday, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely my fault, Shelby.
The BYU Cougar probably had better lane penetration rolling on those foam noodles before jumping on a trampoline to dunk.
You know what, Ed? That's interesting because really everything's gone to shit since I hired Keegan. Everything. Football, basketball. They fired the women's volleyball coach. Like, I think you might be onto something, Ed. I think you might be onto something.
Yikes.
It's probably Keegan's fault. If we get a Mason Manson vlog with a loss. Tucker, I don't want to talk about Dennis Gates and Missouri. Sorry. Blame the messenger. That's what we're doing. We're blaming Keegan right now. Ever since I brought him in, I mean, things have just gone to complete hell. Bickle left. I don't even want. Richie Saunders had 5 points at halftime. He was 2 of 8 from the floor, 1 of 2 from 3 in the first half. BYU's leading scorer. He had 5 points at halftime. It's 16 points in the second half. 5 of 7 from the floor, 4 of 5 from 3. Made both of his free throws. Awful. Cincinnati slashed 37, 17, 25 in this game. BYU slashed 57, 62, 81. They shot 62% from 3 on the game, Aaron.
Yeah, 1.3 points per possession compared to Cincinnati's 0.9.
Only 1.3?
1.333. Yes, sir.
It felt worse than that.
Yeah, well, that's because we watched a bloodbath.
Well, sorry, I was letting the dogs out.
Yeah.
It felt worse because they only scored 28 in the first half. That's I would love to see the points per possession in the second half. They don't break it down by half, unfortunately. Oh, yeah, they do. 1.625 points per possession in the second half. I've never seen that before.
1.6.
1.6. I've never seen 1.6 points per possession. Keegan seems liberal to you.
That's what happens though, Chad, when you shoot when you slash in the second half 74, 73, 78.
Yeah.
That's what you slashed in the second half.
1.6. Mark, have you ever seen 1.6 points per possession in a half?
74, 73, 78.
That's quitting. That's quitting. Quitting. That is just not caring how bad you get your ass beat. It's just not caring. I've seen 1.4, like in some really good halves, I've seen like 1.4 points per possession. That means every trip, every time down the floor, they scored 1.4 points. I don't think they were crazy shots, Mark. I think they just hit shots, and Cincinnati folded.
Richie
I don't think they were crazy.
Richie Saunders and Yegor Demon had 26 in the second half. Cincinnati had 29.
What's the biggest difference from last year? I think it's toughness. They're not rebounding. They have been. Did they out rebound Texas Tech? I think they did no, they got killed against Texas Tech. This is like 6 games in a row they've been out rebounded in Big 12 play. I think it's tough. I think it is toughness. Shot
Texas
making is obviously,
Texas Tech had 34. We had 27. Lost by 7.
Yeah, this is a team it's not tough. They're not interested in the things that win games at this level. The things that win games at this level are hard. With screening, right? Setting good fundamental screens, using the screen properly, rebounding, sitting down on defense and getting a stop in the final 5 minutes of the game. Those things are what make you a tough team. And, they're not doing it. And I've given them enough rope to get it turned around. It's not turning around. Because I don't like to be the guy that I don't like to be the reactionary prisoner of the moment. Everything is bad as soon as something bad happens. But we are now 8 games in. We are 8 games into this Big 12 schedule, and they are who they are.
Are you seeing any of these quotes that Keegan has from the presser?
No.
Wes Miller on UC's poor shooting. I'm not going to talk shit about my players publicly. If I need to say something, I'll do it in the damn locker room. Okay. Wes Miller, I thought we played well in the first half. Our pop was there. Our edge was there. That's what we spent the week on in practice. That said, they shot the lights out in the second half. We helped them. We got our asses kicked. And it's a part of college basketball. Teams get their asses kicked. It happens. It's happening more to us than I'd like it to happen. We'll respond. We have a group of kids that won't give in.
Marvin Lewis. I see better than I hear. And what I'm seeing ain't good. It ain't good. They're supposed to be the best 3-point defense in the conference. The last 2 teams have lit them the fuck up from 3.
Yeah.
What's, you're supposed to hang your hat on something. Who are we? What are we good at? The things that they had on paper that they were good at are terrible now. Everything is going to shit. And at some point, you've got to stop the slide. And this team has just been not that interested in doing it. You've got to bow up and get your ass back on track.
Between Texas Tech and BYU, 27 of 55 from 3. The 2 teams combined. Good for 49%. Jeez. What do you even do when you're watching film with the team? I think you just throw the film away.
No.
What do you take from that?
You're there for 3 days. You lock them in a room and you make them watch that until their fucking eyes bleed.
Over and over again. I think it's like by definition cruel and unusual punishment, I believe. I think that's a treasonable offense.
It's like waterboarding.
I mean, might be worse. Isn't that what? Didn't they do a similar thing to get the people out of the building in Waco? That's where we're at.
What song was it?
In South Park, it was "Do You Believe in Life After Love" by Cher.
Yeah. Make them watch every single three-point shot all day on repeat from Texas Tech and BYU, just over and over and over and over and over. Yeah, they don't get to see the first half, just the second. I thought the fight was there in the first half. Like there was if Day makes that three, there's a really good chance they go in winning at halftime after not shooting well, but playing hard, playing physical, keeping in contact with BYU on the road. I mean, if you remember last year, everybody looks at that game last year. If you remember last year, they didn't really play well until like the final 7 or 8 minutes of that game. And then they just got hot right at the end and won by 11 or whatever it was. But like, that's kind of what they did. They hung around. And then they finally like withstood the Trevin Nell 9 3-pointers and then pulled ahead late and won the game. And it kind of had that feel to it in the first half. And then by 5 minutes into the second half, it was like, how bad is BYU going to beat the fuck out of them? And the answer was 28. 28. Yeah.
I don't think there's any need this week to do, or this game to do a player by player. You gave everybody's point totals earlier in the game. I
mean, that's part of the show. Let's fucking do it. Let's go. Let's put it on Front Street, Aaron. Let's do it.
Sure. It's Jesus. CMOS 14 points, 5 of 11, 4 of 8 from 3. 3 offensive, 1 defensive, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 fouls, 2 turnovers, 26 minutes, minus 21.
Offensively, he played well enough. The only one that you could even say remotely, okay. Page wasn't terrible. He wasn't good. That 3 he took, unfathomable.
Down 14, taking a 3 from the top of the key.
You still had a chance to fight back at that point.
Yeah.
And he's
ill-advised. Page is next. 7 points, 3 of 6 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3, 1 for 2 from the line. He had 2 of the total of 4 free throws for the entire team. Jesus. 1 offensive rebound, 2 defensive, 3 rebounds on the day, 1 assist, 1 foul, 2 turnovers, a steal, 18 minutes played, minus 9.
Minus 9? That's pretty good.
Single
That's
digits.
not bad.
Only 1 of 4 Bearcats.
Only single digits in minus?
Only 1 of 4 Bearcats with minus single digits.
Pretty good.
Dan, 6 points.
Trash. Garbage.
Dan, 6 points, 3 of 7 from the field, 0 for 3 from the arc, 1 offensive rebound, 1 rebound for Dan, 1 assist, 3 fouls, 3 turnovers, 20 minutes played, minus 13.
Only minus 13? Thought it was worse than that.
How is he only getting 1 rebound in this game? It's unreal. Jizzle, 6 points, 3 of 13, 0 of 5 from 3.
Trash. Garbage.
1 offensive rebound, 2 defensive, 3 total rebounds, 5 assists, 3 fouls, 1 steal, 28 minutes played, minus 26. Day, 5 points, 2 of 7 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, 2 assists, 3 steals, 28 minutes played, minus 17.
Trash. Garbage.
You had 4 players with 4 points. That's where we're at right now. Dylan, 4 points, 2 of 5 from the field, 0 for 2 from the line, 0 for 2 from 3. 3 offensive, 2 defensive rebounds, giving him 5 rebounds, leading all Bearcats, 1 assist, 3 fouls, a block, a steal, 26 minutes played, minus 14.
Natty Ron, you had a better night than any of us. You had to work.
You didn't have to watch.
You had the best night of anybody in the room. the best night of anybody in the room.
Aziz, 4 points, 2 of 3 from the field, 1 offensive, 3 defensive, 4 total rebounds, a turnover, 22 minutes played, minus 19.
Trash. Garbage.
Ravon, 4 points played, 2 of 3 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3, 2 minutes played, minus 3.
Hey, 2 buckets in 2 minutes. Let's go, Ray.
Still minus 3 in those 2 minutes. That's crazy.
Against their walk-ons.
Crazy. Then Tyler Betsy.
Trash. Garbage.
2 points, 1 of 4 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3, 1 defensive rebound, 1 foul, 1 turnover, 13 minutes played, minus 11. Natty Ron, there would have to be highlights for you to watch them.
I'm sure there are BYU highlights out there you could watch.
Plenty of those.
There's the Dylan Mitchell. They ran a fake Aziz lob and then ran Dylan behind it for a lob that he caught and dunked. That was a nice play. I like that play. It was all right. That one was good.
And then you had CJ Frederick and Josh Reed combining for 0 for 2 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3. 1 offensive, 2 defensive rebounds, 3 rebounds total between the 2 of them, 2 fouls, 2 blocks, 17 minutes played, minus 6 for Josh, minus 1 for CJ.
CJ minus 1.
Of all of those stats, CJ Frederick, he only had a rebound. So all of the other stats were Josh.
Yeah. It's bad, Aaron. It's bad. It's bad. Fortunately, we have a big guest on Monday night for the BBP. I'm not even going to mention it at this point. We'll save it for Monday night at 8:00.
Not tonight.
Not even going to mention it. Yeah. UC took 12 more shots. They did early, especially. They offensive rebounded well, and BYU turned it over 14 times. Like, if they dug in on defense, there was a chance to hang around in this game. Start Reed over CMOS. And tonight's not the night to pick on CMOS. He's the only one. He was the only one close to double digits. They're picking on him ain't gonna do any good.
If Reed would have started over CMOS, he would have lost by 38.
Right? Oh man. Fat bald guy racing coming in hot on the pod Monday night. No, not having Dan on. That would be interesting, but I'm not gonna do it.
I'd probably take the night off.
I hope it's a priest to do an exorcism on this team. Well, it's nobody affiliated with this team. So it's nobody affiliated with this team. It's not West, but you're in the ballpark. You're in the ballpark. I mean, the only problem is they have promised CJ Anthony that they are going to let him redshirt and go somewhere else next year. So they're not going to pull Dan Hurley, not after today. I thought the women won. I was like, all right, good night shaping up here. And then it went all bad from there. Is Brad Chendo making an appearance? Fuck that guy. Wes's seat is officially warm. You lose by 28. People are pissed, and rightfully so.
If you lose by 28 and your team is still playing their ass off, it's one thing. If you lose by 28 and you're not even putting a hand up in players' faces as they're just spraying threes.
Yeah. No, it's somebody from the athletic department currently. It's just not anybody on the basketball side, guys. We're going to turn the comments off Monday, aren't we?
I look, when I'm watching the game, I'm already had that thought because there wasn't much else to think about while watching the game.
No, there was plenty of time to think about other things.
All the time in the world.
There was plenty of time to think about other things. Yeah, I'm with you, Alex. I want to see a sign of desperation out of this team at some point. They have lost 6 times. Oh, it's going to be a fun Monday night. You might be onto something, Zachary.
Look, say what you want about John Cunningham, but even he would not be showing up on our podcast on Monday. No, sir. He is smart. He is smarter than that.
Cody, if you fire your coach, you will lose your high school recruits. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. That's yes. This is depressing as hell. Natty Ron, we have to do this. Like,
well,
we have to do this.
We're about at that mark where we don't have to really go any further.
No, we don't. We don't necessarily. I mean, there's a lot of people here hanging out with us. So
well, I know, because misery loves company. I should have drank tonight. Oh my God. I should have drank.
I should have too. Not like if you would have told me, Bob.
Good old Bob.
Bob, next time I need you to learn all the words for basketball. And then I need you to rap. We're playing basketball. We love that basketball. Depression is better with a large group of people. B Fox is the only guy doing his job. Time to roll one up. Like this, Ron. Like this. Aaron just checked out on us. He's out. I started singing basketball. He called it a night.
I thought we were in the second half. I got to quit.
This is why you guys come here for therapy. Because we actually get everybody to laugh. And right now, I'm not in a laughing mood. You guys, like, I know this is hard on you guys, but like generally you guys get to watch a game, be mad for a little bit after, and then like you'll have shit to do tomorrow. We have to do this every day.
Monday,
Tuesday at Utah, 10 o'clock at night. Wednesday when we get to hear Dave's thoughts.
I have to talk about this game Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tuesday with George. Can't wait. Should be fun.
Evan, there are people that have said, I don't care what happens, just beat Xavier. This season is testing if those people meant it or not. Did you really mean that? Did you really, really mean that? And shout out to the women's program that they are having just some ass kicking fourth quarters. Did you see their fourth quarter today, Aaron? 29-13 in the fourth quarter.
I'd love to see that in the second half. I'd love to see that in the fourth quarter of football. I would love to see that. I forget those days.
George is still cool. George is the best.
It's my dog.
Zach, the women's program is very strong right now. I think the baseball program is going to be pretty strong. Trevin Nell's nose looks like a cougar tail.
So does Richie Saunders' chin.
Oh man. I don't have a whole lot else. I don't want you guys to.
Dawson Baker looked 40. He
did.
legit looked like a 40-year-old man out there.
He's gone on like 4 Mormon missions. He went on one and came back. Then he went on another one and he came back. And he went on another one.
He's already worked 6 years as a carpenter before entering the NCAA.
Look, Steve, the thing is, like he says, imagine what it's like for the coaches and players. I know they're trying to figure it out. Like they're working hard. They're trying to figure it out. But you can't let happen what happened in the second half tonight. Fucking put in a goon and foul somebody and do some show you got some fight to you.
AP was in. He's your goon. I mean, if anybody on this team is going to be the goon.
Hal Veen. He doesn't even speak English. Put Hal Veen in to just hammer somebody.
Man.
But we still have a chance. A chance at what, Bob? What do we have a chance at?
5-15 in conference play. You have a chance. 5-15.
Rather have George talk about Newport stories than more about the BYU game.
Look, there's always a possibility. We're on a time crunch this week because there is a tip-off. Who knows if there's a game beforehand though where it gets pushed back 15 minutes or whatever. If ESPN is even going to air the game.
I mean, yeah, Evan, I don't disagree with you there. When's the last time I saw us commit a hard foul? Like you don't do that on us type foul.
Or, I don't know, jab somebody in the eyeball and not get called and just go about your day.
Yeah, a chance at redemption. I'm having a hard time getting there, Bob. I'm usually the guy that at least keeps the options open. This team is not inspiring the confidence. Like, at least like last year, we were talking about close losses and like, how do they keep falling apart down the stretch? How can they not get over the hump? They're getting humped. All right.
Next year might be the chance of redemption after this season.
I don't know that it's coming this year. Alex, the thing, I had to explain that to somebody nobody takes charges anymore because refs don't call it. Like they altered 2 years ago, they altered the charge rule, and it's like 20%. It used to be like 80% of the time, stand still, grab your nuts, fall down, they were going to call a charge. And they just don't call it anymore. So teaching it is almost irrelevant. Like it doesn't do you any good to try to do it because officials have essentially been told, unless it is obvious, there's no more player control fouls. What nuts? Yeah. They've all got girlfriends, so. Yeah, Josh did have a guy in a chokehold last week. Oh, boy. UC's not on the NIT bubble.
Oh, did you see Ilio Saseme is still playing up in Canada? He's playing college.
Yeah, he sat out for like 2 years and then came back.
Unreal.
Pop said they got nuts but no balls. That might be accurate, Bob. That might be my favorite thing see what I said? Favorite? Might be my most favorite thing anybody said tonight.
I think it's a great time to end it.
I think it is. I'm gonna rip a couple heaters and try to forget that this happened. 80-52. Bearcats get their teeth kicked in Provo. Woof. We'll see you tomorrow when Aaron and I recap an exciting weekend in the Big 12 for everybody not a Cincinnati Bearcat. And then big special guest on Monday. We'll see you next time. What's that?
Comments will be off.
Comments will be off. We'll see you next time. That's the aftermath. Go to Mio's. Drown your sorrows. Brought to you by Mio's, live from the Cincy Light Studios, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
We love you guys. See ya!
Woof.